Hello everybody, welcome to the second video game review on this channel. Yippee, yay, I'm excited, yay. Today we're going to talk about the newest DC video game, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. And it's a beloved game. Everybody on Twitter loves it. Every DC fan is loving the game. It's getting great reviews. I think it got IGN's first ever 11 out of 10. And there are rumors that Jeff Keighley has already put this game up for the win for Game of the Year 2024. Fuck. Oh my god, that was a shitty bit. Anyways, no, yeah, it's no secret that everybody fucking hates this game. And I knew that going in, so my expectations were a little low. I wasn't really sure what to expect before that. I was mildly excited. So before we get into this game, let's talk about my. Oh, that was my chair. Let's talk about my experience with the Arkhamverse because that is the series that this game takes place in. I love the Batman Arkham games. They are some of my favorite games ever. I think they are the best superhero games ever made, and nothing comes close. You know, not Infamous, not the Spider-Man games. Nothing comes close to the Batman Arkham games. I think Arkham Knight is my favorite, which is a bit controversial. I know everybody says City is the best, but Arkham Knight, I mean, when you're just, I know the Batmobile sucks and the story has a lot of issues, but when you're just playing as Batman, like core Batman, it is like the best Batman experience like ever. It's so fucking awesome. You just it's challenging, but you also feel like a badass because you can do so much cool shit in that game. And I love Arkham Knight. It's so good. I mean, it's got some fucking issues. I mean, like the Arkham Knight himself is a shitty villain, but I digress. I was mildly intrigued by this game when it was first announced back in 2020. With the title like Kill the Justice League, I was like, oh well, I guess we're not getting a Superman game by Rocksteady or a Flash game, which is disappointing because there's no way they're just gonna not kill the Justice League in this game. That'd be weird. So I don't know. I was mildly interested in this game, but I was also like, we'll see. It could go either way. And then when the game came out, everybody shit on it. Everybody hates it. Everybody says it's disrespectful to like a bunch of characters and yada yada. Yada. But what did I think of it? Well, let's get into it. So we're going to talk about the gameplay before we get into the story. The gameplay of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is, I mean, it's fine. It's not glitchy or buggy or anything. I never had any game-breaking issues. The only real complaint I have in terms of the game's performance is the fact that it literally won't run unless you're online, which is really fucking annoying. Even if you just want to do the single-player story, you have to always be online, which is really fucking stupid and annoying. But whatever. So I can review this game in two ways. I can review this game as a single player story game or as a live service online multiplayer shooter game. So as a single player campaign, I think this game is pretty mediocre. I mean, the combat is pretty surface level. Like there's not a lot of depth to it. Like what you do in the first like 20 minutes of the game, that's pretty much exactly what you're going to be doing like 20 hours into the game. Like there's not a lot of evolution or depth to the combat at all. I mean, like there's a skill tree in the game and it hardly made a difference. Like I barely noticed it. And most of the upgrades you get, I was just like, I mean, sure. It hardly made a difference to me. I play the game on the normal difficulty, not the hardest, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe on the hardest it's different, but for me, the combat was very shallow. It felt like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's really, there's not a lot to it, to be honest with you. There's just not a lot of, it's very shallow. It feels like Fortnite without all the crafting and all that. I don't know, I don't fucking play Fortnite, but it feels like just the base shooting of Fortnite as the entire game, other than like some of the traversal. And it's just kind of it's fine, it's whatever, but it makes me think that a Suicide Squad game maybe would have worked better if it was more linear. The open world in this game is pretty bad. I mean, first off, let's talk about the traversal. The traversal in this game fucking sucks. The traversal in the Arkham games is so nice, especially in Arkham Knight. You can either use the Batmobile or you can use what's the gliding, and either one is really really fun. You know, in this game, every character has their own version of traversal of getting through the open world, and each of them fucking sucks in their own way. King Sharks is, basically he just jumps around kind of like the Hulk in the Avengers movies, but I don't know. I didn't really care for it. Deadshots is really awkward. He has a jetpack, but the jetpack is so awful to control. It's so shitty. Like going up and down is it's just so annoying that I just never even bothered with Deadshot. Captain Boomerangs is probably the most like fine-tuned, but it's the most awkward. He throws a boomerang and then he teleports to the boomerang, and you just do that over and over, and it's just really awkward and weird to do. And Harley's is the one I got the used to the most, but it's still not great. Basically, she kind of swings around like Spider-Man with her grappling hook, but the issue is that there's a cooldown in between each of her swings, and that just kills it, man. Like, video games are supposed to be fun. Like, just let me swing around like Spider-Man. Like, I get it. Harley Quinn's not Spider-Man, but if you're gonna give her a swinging thing, just let her swing. Just fucking don't give me a cooldown. Could you imagine if in the Spider-Man games between every fucking swing there was a cooldown? It would literally like break that game and make it like so much less fun and borderline unplayable. And that's what it feels like here. The cooldown just fucking kills the traversal, especially with Harley. It's just so annoying. You do a swing and you're like, wow, that was fun. Too bad I gotta wait fucking 8 seconds before I can do that again. It's just so annoying. And then this game, the traversal is a big part of it, so unfortunately that affects a lot of the game, and it's really shitty. Another thing I want to talk about is the boss fights. That's basically the selling point of the game. The game's called Kill the Justice League, so you fight the Justice League. And the boss fights in this game are fucking horrible. The Green Lantern's boss fight is the best one, but it's still not great. But basically, his boss fight is he summons a lot of guns and helicopters and shit with his lantern ring, and it's okay. You shoot them, and then it's like, oh, he's vulnerable now. Shoot him, and it's fine. It's okay. But the other ones are just fucking atrocious. Like this is a game where you're fighting the Justice League, and this is what they fucking came up with. The Flash boss fight is so annoying. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be spoiling this whole game, so I mean you don't care. You already have seen everything on Twitter, but no, but the Flash's boss fight is so fucking boring and unfun to play. He just kind of zips around like every zero point 0.2 seconds, and his hitbox is so small that, a guy who has shitty aim like me, it took forever. And I know you're gonna say, oh, skill issue, but I mean, it's really fucking boring. He just goes around. 'Cause it's not that it's hard. It's just that it takes forever. He just zips around, and I get it, he's the Flash, but he has such a small hitbox, and he only has like two moves that are really easy to dodge each. And it's just so boring. It's just so repetitive, and it goes on forever. With a Flash boss fight, there's a lot you can do. What if he fucking uses the Speed Force to time travel you through different eras and stuff, kind of like his Injustice 2 super move? But here it's just really boring. And the worst part is that the final boss, Brainiac, it's literally the exact same thing, just with a few more enemies thrown in. But it's literally the exact same thing. And it's just as boring and shitty there. Except it actually takes longer because I think he has more health, and it sucks. Superman's boss fight is more or less the same. He kind of zooms around a lot. Pretty much all the boss fights are just the boss is like moving all around the arena, and you just gotta like deal with it and just try and find them. And by the time you turn the camera to them, they've already teleported halfway across the map. It just sucks. There wasn't a single boss fight in this game that I actually enjoyed. Now it sounds like I'm shitting on this game's gameplay, and to be honest with you, it's not that bad. The game runs pretty well, and it looks great. It looks great. I saw some people saying, "Oh, Arkham Knight looks better in this game," and yeah, I will admit Arkham Knight does look a lot better. But this game still looks pretty good. It still looks solid. The frame rate's great. I was playing on the PS5 and it looked great. I don't know if it's on any other systems. I haven't really. I'm pretty sure it's on PC, but yeah, I mean the game looks good to me and it sounds good. The music's good. No, but yeah, I mean like I don't know the fucking my biggest issue with the game is the traversal. As a single player story campaign, it's very repetitive. Pretty much all the missions you're going to do are the same. It's either, oh, you're going to go into this arena of enemies and you're just going to do a certain task, like, oh, find four for soldiers and rescue them or destroy all these little mini towers or whatever. And it's just kind of rinse and repeat the same four styles of missions over and over again. Or escort the payload, which, escort missions. Why, it's 2024. Why are we still doing these? Like, Resident Evil 4 is like the only game to do escort missions right. And also Kingdom Hearts 2. But that's it. The rest of them fucking suck. So, yeah, I mean, the gameplay is fun. It's fun shooting things, but it's nothing I haven't played, in better versions before. Like in terms of great third-person shooters, I think of something like Uncharted, And this game is no Uncharted. I think this game actually would have benefited from being much more linear instead of an open world kind of thing. But that it's an open world game. I will say though, as a live service online multiplayer game, it's probably not half bad. I mean, I didn't really play with friends because Outlet wasn't dumb enough to buy it like I to pre-order the shit like I was. But love you, Ale. But yeah, I didn't play this game multiplayer, but I can imagine, maybe like maybe after a long day at work, you get home and you call your friend, and you're like, "Hey, you down to play some Suicide Squad?" And you're like, "Sure." And you do some missions. You're playing as King Shark, and the other guy's playing as like Deadshot or something, and you're having a good time. And it's a fun little like decompressor. But the problem is there's better online multiplayer shooter games to play. Like there's Battlefield, and I would even say Call of Duty is probably better. Maybe not the new ones, but I'm just saying like when you compare this online multiplayer to something like I don't know Prime Modern Warfare 2, it doesn't stack up. I would compare the multiplayer in this game to Resident Evil 5 and 6. More so 5. Because in Resident Evil 5, that's a very mediocre, generic action game. But playing with a friend, it makes it more fun. And that's probably the case with this game. With this game, there's a lot of crazy shit going on, and you can fly around and shit. It probably makes it fun to play with a friend. But, again, there's better games to play with your friend out there. So I think this game definitely works better as a live service game than as a single player story campaign. But it's still not amazing. There's still not a lot of depth here. At the end of the day, even if you do play this with your friends, you're just going to be doing the same missions over and over again, whether you do the side stuff or you do the story. You're just going to be doing the same things over and over again. I guess it probably would be fun to do the boss fights with them, but that's a very small part of the game. And if you're just doing the story of this game, it's only going to take you about 10 hours. And doing all the side stuff, which I haven't even done, like, do I really want to spend 20 hours of my life doing the same shit? Just doing all these horde missions? No. So I'm definitely not going to be platining this game anytime soon. Overall, the gameplay is not great. It kept my attention. I would never hated it. I was enjoying shooting things, but it's very forgettable, and it's nothing that I'd want to play for any longer than like 10 hours. It's very repetitive, but I mean, I don't know. I guess I was mildly enjoying it the whole time. It's just it's just not great, It's just a very generic third-person shooter. All the characters pretty much play the same, other than traversal. They pretty much yeah, they pretty much fucking play the same, so there's not much to say there. I mostly I mostly played as Harley and King Shark. Um, And I will say I did enjoy playing as Harley other than her traversal. I liked her weapons and stuff, so yeah. Overall, if I'm reviewing this game based on the gameplay, I'd just give it a 5 out of 10. It's very generic, very surface level. Like I said, there's just not a lot of depth here. There's not a lot of evolution or, it's very surface level. Like pretty much all the rewards you get, is just like, oh, well, none of it really affects the game that much, so you're just like, whatever. So now let's talk about the story. I was really curious about the story of this game when it was first announced. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. I was like, oh, is it like in an alternate universe? No, it's not. This game fully established itself as part of the Arkham lore. There's a mission at the beginning of the game where it basically takes you through a museum that recaps all the Arkham games. It completely ignores Arkham Origins, which is kind of funny, but this game makes it abundantly clear that this is the same Arkham universe, or this is the same universe as the Arkham games, and it is the exact same Harley, it is the exact same Batman. And I gotta tell you, this is an absolute fucking slap in the face to anybody that likes the Arkham story. Playing this game, I get the sense that Rocksteady, or maybe it was a different crew or something, but whoever made this game, I get the sense that they just fucking hate DC and they hate Justice League in the same way that like Garth Ennis puts Marvel, like whenever Garth Ennis writes Marvel stories, he always puts superheroes in there like Spider-Man and Iron Man, and he makes them complete fucking idiots. It reminds me of that. This game just fucking it hates the Arkham games. It feels like, and it doesn't really like one of the like it's so weird. It prides itself on being in the same universe as the Arkham. It's almost like the game's telling you like, hey, this is the Arkham universe. There's no getting around that. These are the Arkham characters, and we're gonna shit all over all of them. Fuck you. Again, I'm going to spoil this game, but we're going to talk about Batman's portrayal. Actually, we'll save that for later. For now, let's talk about the story, the base story. So you play as the Suicide Squad, you go to Metropolis, Brainiac has taken control of the entire Metropolis city, and he's taken control of the Justice League, and you have to kill them. First off, I really don't think DC understands the point of the Suicide Squad. The best Suicide Squad content I've seen is the Suicide Squad with James Gunn. That game understood, or that movie, I'm sorry. That movie understood that the Suicide Squad is expendable. They're meant for missions like, hey, go kill this dictator over in this third world country. If you succeed, great, mission accomplished. If you fail, whatever. We can just blow up your heads and the world has less criminals in it now. Great. But in the first Suicide Squad movie and this game, they put the Suicide Squad and they make them do this like world-ending threat. It's like, really? In this DC universe, there's nobody else you could call? What about the Teen Titans? What about, fucking the Justice League Dark? You know? What about the Doom Patrol? Why the Suicide Squad, And I saw a Reddit post that said, what if this game was Wonder Woman saves the Justice League? And that would have been much more fun and fulfilling for me as a fan. I don't know. But, whatever. Okay, so this game is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm going to review it as a Suicide Squad game. The writing in this game, in terms of the dialogue between the main four, isn't half bad. I actually really enjoyed their camaraderie. I like the sense that even though they are a team, I like that they're coworkers. They never ever say something like, oh, we're a family, or we're real friends. Except King Shark sometimes, but I like that. I like how you can tell that these... Oh, shit. I like how you can tell that these characters do not like each other, and they just fucking, they're only doing this because they have to. So that's nice. But man, the Justice League portrayal in this is so shitty. It's so disappointing, man. Batman kills like 200 people. He kills like all these cops and he hangs them in the Batcave. He kills Robin, Tim Drake off screen. And it's just like, damn, you got to be thinking about how Oracle feels. Her husband and her like father figure are both dead by the end of this game, and her father figure was brainwashed and killed him. Like, it's so shitty to think about what happened to some of your favorite characters from the Arkham series. How does Jim Gordon feel? How does Nightwing feel? How does Catwoman feel about everything that happened? It's such a slap in the face. If this game was an alternate universe, I'd have no issue with this. But it's just the fact that this game makes it so clear that this is in the Arkham universe, and it's so insulting how shitty it treats the characters of that game. Batman himself is voiced by Kevin Conroy in one of his final performances, and there's been a lot of controversy over the send-off of his character. I saw like screenshots of this scene and all that, and I thought to myself, maybe the context is not there. Maybe, maybe there's more to it. Maybe he's not even really dead. Maybe he comes back later in the game, but no, this is how they kill Arkham versus Batman. And it is so insulting. It is just... I don't want to spoil Last of Us 2, but there's a death in that game that everybody hated because they said it was disrespectful to that character. Well, compared to this, it was almost like at least that character in Last of Us 2, it had an emotional impact and it was treated as a big deal. In this game, Batman dies and it's completely forgotten about. They're like, yep, well, we killed Batman, hooray. It's so unceremonious and anticlimactic. It's so strange, and just having him be killed by these four assholes, in a park bench with a shot to the head is so insulting. You know, the Batman is such a great character, and if you're gonna kill the Batman, you better do it in a great way. You know, Batman has died like only a few times in stories, you know, and it's always treated as a big deal. And in this game, it's just like it's so shitty. You get the sense that Rocksteady hates Batman. I don't mind Batman being evil. I mean, it sucks seeing him kill people, but I mean, hey, he's being controlled by Brainiac and he's evil. But just the way they treat him in this game is just so insulting in every way. He gets humiliated. He gets beat by fucking Captain Boomerang, and his boss fight sucks. You fight this big shadow demon bat, and it's just really lame. You just shoot it for like 4 minutes and then you're done. It's so disrespectful, man, to the character, to everybody that loved the Arkham games and grew attached to that character. His death is just so nothing. It's so disrespectful, man. And I don't really like saying that because at the end of the day, they're fictional characters. They're not real. But when you know Arkham Asylum came back or came out in 2009, people have been invested in this version of Batman um, for 15 years at this point, and this is the send off you give him, really? And that's not even mentioning the other characters. I mean, Wonder Woman die, all the entire Justice League dies. Superman and Flash, like they don't even get cutscenes. They just kind of fall over and die, and then you move on. It's like, what the fuck? If you're gonna kill the Justice League, like fucking kill them, give them send-offs. The only character with any sort of like dramatic like send-off in this game is Wonder Woman, but you don't even fight her. She's the only one not brainwashed. And like I remember before I played the game, I heard like, oh, Wonder Woman's the only one that hasn't been brainwashed by Brainiac. So I thought, oh, that's good. Wonder Woman, like it's not even like a fight. Like you don't fight her. I remember, the game came out and it's like, oh, Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn, or what the fuck am I saying? Oh, Wonder Woman's the only one not brainwashed by Brainiac, and she'll help the Suicide Squad. But it amounts to nothing. She never like helps you out in combat. She never does anything. You never get to play as her or anything. So at the end, it's like, well, I guess it was either that or have another mediocre boss fight with her, but it ultimately amounted to nothing. The story of this game, like the combat, is very surface level. You know, the only part of the story where I felt like they put any actual effort into it is the dialogue between the four main characters. You know, and it is fun, it is endearing, it's cute, and I like how they talk a lot during combat, so you never feel like you're playing as lifeless character models. But at the same time, even though the characters are likable, it's still not fun seeing them kill characters that you like. Um, and it's just really disappointing because playing this game, I realized like, oh well, now we're never going to get a Rocksteady Superman game or a Rocksteady Flash game. I think there was this there's this video online of like this Flash game that was like canceled in 2009, but it looks really cool, and it makes me sad that we'll probably never get a Flash video game that's like good. The closest you'll ever get to that are the Sonic games. So yeah, the story of this game, I don't know, it's just very shallow. And the ending of the game, when it ended, I was like, are you fucking serious? That was it? Brainiac is a really lame villain. Like he's only on screen for, in terms of like cutscene time, for maybe like 4 minutes. And by the time the game's over, there's no big fanfare. It's just like, all right, you completed the story. Congrats. Now you get to do other things. It's just very surface level. That's the phrase I keep using for this game. And I think it's appropriate. It's just, I don't know. It feels like they put a lot more into the live service of this game rather than the single player story. It feels very rushed in that department. The story starts out actually like pretty interesting, but it feels like as it goes on, they just kind of stopped caring and wanted to rush it. The second half of the story is really rushed and poorly written. So I think at the end of the day, what they wanted this game to be was a live service online multiplayer game, and that's where they really want the meat of the game. That's what they really want people to get out of it, not really the story. So I don't know. I guess in terms of that, it's not terrible. There are definitely worse games you could play. It's fun for that, but I can't recommend getting this game. If you're interested in the single player story campaign, I really can't recommend it at the $70 price tag it's at right now. Honestly, even as a live service game, I can't recommend it as that. You know, I guess if the game drops down to like maybe like $30, sure, it's a fun, cute little 10-hour gameplay, but the story is just so bad, and it sounds like I'm really shitting on this game. I didn't hate this game, you know. I think it's mildly fun, at best it's, fun to fly around and shoot things, but the repetitive gameplay, the really bad story, the rushed ending, it all comes down on this game really bad, and it results in a 5 out of 10 game. I probably should give it a 4, but I did enjoy the dialogue between the four main characters, especially Boomerang and Shark. I think those characters were both really funny, so that's cool, and oh well. So yeah, I'd give this game a 4 out of 10. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.